on the beat.
Yeah, the real shop talk. Just come and take a listen. Some grown men with unbiased and honest opinions, and with no agendas, so you just gotta check it. Talking love and life from a male perspective. We keep it authentic, real, no filter. Leave a comment, be part of the show. We here to give you 5 gentlemen's views about manhood, no doubt. This the show you've been needing, yeah, it's the real shop talk. Let's go. Hey.
Welcome. Uh-oh, who we got? I bet you that's Tony Watts. There it is. Welcome to the Real Shop Talk, the illest, realest shop talk in the entire land. I am John Singletary. I am filling in for our beloved Derek Jones, running the boards and hosting tonight. And we are super excited to have all of you here. As you can obviously see, instead of the normal 5, I put 10 up there. That's how it's like we got 10 people. That's how bad we are. But instead of normal 5, we just got 3 up here. Obviously, we want you to send all of the positive energy, prayers, and healing power to our dear brother Derek. He's doing well, but he's going to be out for just a little bit, but he'll be right back in maybe next week or so. And just a note, there won't be an episode of Relationship Gumbo this week either while he, gets all of his stuff ready for his big launch. So, but we want to send a shout out to our brother and let you know you're in our thoughts, you're in our prayers, and we're sending plenty of positive healing energy. Y'all hear my co-pilot back here, the DJ LJ back there jamming, and then our brother Tony Massey. Y'all know he's West Coast worldwide now, so 3 hours behind us, and had some things coming up, and he couldn't get on immediately. But if he's able to, he'll try to get on later. But you've got us 3 fellas, so we'll start with me. I'm John Singletary, the host of the Help Myself podcast, and I'll be handling hosting duties tonight. And I'm gonna pass it this way.
Hey, what's up, guys? I am Gun to Man. I am a relationship with self-life coach. I'm also the host of the Gun to Man show every Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time at Rickoven Gunter Jr. right there. You can see right there. Follow me on Instagram to follow the show every Thursday night. Now I'll pass it down to Tony Watts. What's up, bro?
What's up, family? How's everybody doing? I'm Tony Watts, founder of Triumphant TV. You can catch me every Saturday night at 8 o'clock having wonderful high-level conversations about all things us. So let's get this party started, my friend.
Let's get the party started. So we're doing monthly trending topics. And if you are following our Instagram, we said we were going to get the trending topics off with a bang. So a lot going on in these social media streets, in the internet streets, in the real world. And so tonight, why mess around with it? We are going to talk about the slap heard around the world. Gunner Man, can you give us some thoughts about that, bro?
I have to say my thoughts are all over the place with this one. Growing up in the music industry myself, entertainment world, being a part of the relationship, life coaching type of atmosphere, you hear so many different opinions from people, which is really simply just a reflection of who they are, more so than what that situation is. Because you will hear people speak about that situation as if they know Will Smith, as if they know Chris Rock. They will have these opinions that will go in so many different directions as if it's some type of truth to it. Like, I always start off by thinking, when you see a situation like that, he who is without sin cast the first stone. Because I've been seeing posts upon posts with people's opinions. Oh, I'm not dealing with Will Smith no more, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but I know about your personal life, bro. How are you taking that stand? Like, have you not forgot what you used to do? And I can't judge you. I can't look at a situation and say that this is X, Y, Z, and ZOIS. Yo, what up? Tony Massey in the building. Mad love and respect for you, bro, coming on stage. So when I heard about this news, because I didn't see it, my opinion was like, let me keep looking and see what people are saying. Let me see for myself and what comes to mind for myself. And I thought that, once again, I don't know Will Smith. I've never spent time with Chris Rock. And I can have an opinion, but what weight really would the opinion have? What weight would it actually have? Like, it will just simply be, once again, a reflection of what I think about a situation. But that's really about based on what I've been through in the past, what I think. So you can say, okay, well, let's step outside the box. Let's step outside the box and see what did it do for the culture. Now, once again, what did it do for the culture? That's a whole bunch of opinions on that too now. A whole lot of opinions. The truth is what? I hope that some way, shape, or form that those two men can reconcile. Because for myself, I can think of all my mess ups. And what makes me great is about the reconciliation. I know I've done some stupid things in the heat of a moment. I've done some dumb things. You're talking to a man who's divorced. I've done some dumb things in the past. So now, what makes me great is the reconciliation, my comeback. The comeback story of this Gunta man is incredible because I've learned from a situation. I've taken in all that I can. I've extracted all that I can learn about myself to make myself a better person. And then I dare to take on the challenge of trying to at least have that conversation with the person. So when I look at the long and all the opinions about what took place, that's what sticks out the most. Like, how would they come back together after all that?
Man, I like that take. What's going on, brother T. Massey?
Love you, Massey, man.
My meeting got canceled, so I was racing down 405. Came on home so I can hop on the show, man.
Hey, listen, I know you saw we got started with the slap heard around the world, and we know that you eloquently professed your opinion in some places that I saw. You want to go next?
Sure. So, there's a lot at play here, and I'm not going to lie to you. I am so conflicted. I want to take the high road and say that violence should never be an option. But I am a proud member of the Talk Trash Spit Blood fraternity. I believe that you need to be careful, especially when it comes to my wife.
The bro code.
My family, my wife, especially when it comes to the women in my family. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. It's especially if you're talking trash
on site.
It's on site, yeah. But I also, as a man in a creative space, a space that recognizing that this is what we're doing tonight. You have to fight for this. It takes consistency. It takes a certain gravitas. It takes a certain way of presenting yourself. And once you present yourself a certain way, then you become tied to that presentation, to that persona. And so you can't just switch it up whenever you want to. That's not how it works. You don't get to be the good guy when you want to be and then the bad guy when it suits you, right? So my biggest issue was not Will defending Jada. My issue was his lack of situational awareness, his lack of understanding how what he was about to do, the impact that it was going to make, not just on him, but on everyone. Like, they were about to give an award to Questlove. And what we found out later was that was going to be an off-camera award. And Will Packard, first black man to ever produce the Oscars, said he vetoed the cut. No, we need to, this is his first award. We need to show that. So Chris Rock wasn't even supposed to present that award because that award wasn't supposed to be presented on camera. And so shame on Chris Rock for using that opportunity to focus on something that he knew better. Now, I'm not one of those people that feel that certain things are off limit. It's comedy. That's what it is. And Chris Rock is a comedian. And Chris Rock is known for roasting people at these type of shows. But I do understand the complexity and the nuances of targeting black women and their hair. Maya Angelou said, a black woman's hair is her crown. and losing your crown, I get it. I really do. The joke was distasteful. It was inappropriate. It was insensitive. It shouldn't have been said. But then you take everything into consideration, the fact that he probably wasn't actually scheduled to give that award. He was probably just going off the dome, right? And when y'all played the dozens before, you forget about the rules because you're just going, right? But here's the thing. Instead of talking about Chris Rock's insensitivity and his hypocrisy, because he made a whole movie about black women's hair, so it's not like he didn't know. Instead of discussing that, we're discussing Will Smith getting up, walking to the stage, and slapping another black man on a night that a black man was about to get his first award. Questlove was getting his first Oscar. A black man produced the show for the first time. He was getting his first Oscar. And it wasn't just Will Packard. He made sure that the whole crew was black. Like a door was open for us last night. And for someone who's married to someone who is in that arena, I see firsthand how hard it is to get at a seat at the table. Even when the topic is about you. I mean, there are shows, my wife has worked on shows where she's the only black person on the production team, and it's a show that's being sold to TV One or BET. So it's got black content, but we still are not at the table. And so here we are at the table, and this is when you choose violence. I would have been okay if he would have yelled at what he yelled to Chris, keep my wife's name on. I would have been okay if he did just that, and then dealt with it backstage. I got no issue with that because that's situational awareness. And I'm not talking about respectability. I'm not talking about putting on a show because certain people are in the room. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about making sure that my actions don't close doors. We all agree that when that Australian director went after the twins, Venus and Serena, and made that off comment joke about her, that was inappropriate. Why are you bringing her into this? So here we are again. Here's Venus and Serena, who have done nothing to no one, should be celebrating this monumental occasion where their father, everyone has always talked trash about their father. And here, Will Smith paints her father in a very different view, and we get to see the love, and we get to see how he protected them. And instead of talking about that, we're dealing with this. And I'll land here. I don't believe, and this is just Tony Massey. It's not even the Real Shop Talk. It's Tony Massey. These comments are mine and mine alone. I don't believe this was about protecting Jada. I think this was about a fragile ego. And I get it. We, the community, have been clowning Will Smith for years now. He has been the butt of our jokes. We've talked about, the Tupac thing, the August Alsina thing, all of these. Will Smith has been, just dragged through the mud. And I think that Chris Rock didn't go too far. He just went too far for Will. For whatever reason, that was it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. But this idea that he was protecting his wife, that part, and here's why. It's irresponsible. Because, and I posted this, I have an issue with this idea that you have to go to fisticuffs to protect black women. Now, I will say this. My wife pointed out something that I didn't consider. Because black women are not routinely protected by black men, they may not be able to readily recognize what good protection. It could just be celebrating the fact that at least he did something. He didn't just sit there and laugh. He didn't just sit there and act like it was no big deal. So at least he did something. And I get that. I totally understand that. But he's Will Smith. He can walk up on an Oscar stage, slap somebody, and then go to then accept an Oscar and then go to the after party. Cleophas Jackson, however, is going to jail. He's going to lose his job. He's going to have a record because it's an assault. It can be a felony. So now he's not going to be able to get another job. So now y'all going to have to move out your apartment or your house. You're going to have to sell your car. And he just ruins your lives out of this idea of protection for something that did not warrant the level of escalation. Now, if Chris was going after her, then yeah, definitely. You can catch the fade. But even if he would have walked on that stage, took the mic and said, we need to stop making Black women the butt of our jokes, especially my wife, then this would be a conversation about this is how you protect Black women. But applauding, condoning, supporting a man escalating a situation to violence, that's a very dangerous and irresponsible undertaking. Because again, we don't have Will Smith's entitlement. We don't have his the advantages he has, the money he has. He's in a very different position than the rest of us. So we got to be careful how we frame what protection looks like. You can protect Black women without having to use your hands, especially in public spaces. You're on a worldwide stage. And so you've opened the conversation. And here's the part that I think is funny. Everybody is saying that, white people need to stay in their lane. This was broadcasted around the world. What were they supposed to do? Close their eyes? They don't get an opinion? I responded to someone saying that when you do something on a world stage for all the world to see, then the world gets an opinion. They get to give an opinion about what they saw. You can't not decide that, okay, y'all can't talk about it. Then don't do it in front of everybody like that. That should have been done. If I would have read on TMZ this morning, Will Smith whooped Chris Rock's ass backstage at the Oscars, I'd be like, yeah, he probably should have. But you don't do it. It's situational awareness. It's understanding that you have the power to open doors, but you also have the power to close them. So that's my biggest issue. It's not so much what he did, how he did it, when he did it, where he did it. That's the problem I have, because now who's going to be affected? Now he's allowing the Academy to say, hey, y'all said Oscars was so white. We brought in some Black people. I don't know if we could do that again. Is it right? No. But would it happen? Probably so. So I'll end there.
All right, I see Tony Watts. He can't wait to get in, man. What you got for us, T. Watts?
Excellent view from both of my teammates here. I choose violence. And I choose violence because it's enough. Chris Rock has used them as low-hanging fruit forever. So I do not condone how it went down. At some point, when does Will stop becoming the butt of everybody's joke? Because if he did not respond, we'd be talking about how much of a punk he was because he said nothing about his wife. The problem I have with the joke is she put out how she had been affected by this new disease that has taken over her body. She has posted what that is. And I heard tonight, I'm going to do some research to find out exactly, but I was told that they was talking about the writers of the Oscars wrote that joke. And if that's true, then Chris Rock was doubly wrong because he should have said, nah, we're not going to do that to her. If that's true, nah, we shouldn't do that to her. So for me, and I understand what Tony's saying about situational awareness. I got it. I get it. But this was Will Smith, and you said it earlier about his ego and what's going on, saying, stop, people, stop. I cannot. What do you want me to do as a man? How do I stand as a man continually being disrespected on this level? When has Chris Rock ever said something bad about a white person who had a terminal, not a terminal illness, but an illness? When has he joked about that? You have never seen him do that. So for me, we've got to stop attacking ourselves from our pain point. She had clearly stated this is a pain point for her. So for us to bring it up and just to throw it out to the world like it's okay, no, it's not okay. It's not okay. And the fact that he didn't punch him in his face meant he was teaching him a lesson. It was the dog goes pee-pee on the floor, you slap him on the nose with a little rolled up thing. He was slapping him on his face and saying, "No, you're not going to do this anymore. You're going to stop doing this." And for me, we've got to stand up for our Black women. And Tony, you're absolutely right. There are ways to do it. It shouldn't always be violence. But I am sorry, Emmett Till. I can go down a list of other Black men who have died just for whistling, looking at white. When are we going to stop and just say, "Hey, leave her alone. Leave them alone"? Who's going to stand up for them? Us? We're going to continue to let all of this craziness happen? So for me, I understand from where Will is coming from. If you haven't read his book, I will just tell you to read his book and you'll have a better understanding as well where he's coming from. Especially when you look at what he won the Oscar for and the betrayal of the person he portrayed, you'll really get it. And those who do acting, those who have ever been on the stage to do acting, you will understand when you take on the role of a character, you have to take on the complete characteristics of that character. And it's not something you just let go of. Especially when you've been rocking with for 6, 7, 8, 9 months. It's something you don't let go of. Rick was at my show when I played Detective Kane. Everybody that came there was like, "I don't know who that man is on stage." And after the show was over, for a week and a half, I did not come out. I did not bother with people because that's a different level of things. And I'm telling you again, go read Will's book. He said some things in his book that will make you understand, to give a better understanding of why he did what he did. So for me, to land my plane, Chris Rock was wrong. Will was wrong, but he was rightfully wrong because stop, that's my wife and she's going through something. So I'll land right there.
Let me see. How would Derek do it? He said, "I got a couple of thoughts."
As a matter of fact, little bro is in the comments.
Yeah. So first off, man, Chris Rock, Will Smith, regardless of all of this, that's Black excellence. They both in their 50s, they've been doing this for a long time. They're standard bearers. So we can feel how we want to feel about this situation, but Black excellence, so that doesn't change for me. Shout out to Chris Rock for not filing a police report because of, the other ramifications that could have been brought into that. So shout out to him for choosing that, and much respect for him continuing on with the show like a G. And I think it was Judd Apatow that said he could have hurt him, and I was like, me and Tony Watts were laughing about that. I was like, never in my life have I slapped a man and did it with the intention to hurt him. I was sending a lesson. That's disrespect when you slap a whole grown man. So, some of it is bordering on the line of. But what I really think this is, this situation, man, it's a Rorschach test, And for all of you not familiar with that, that's where they put the blobs and the squid to ask you what you see, how you feel about it. And I've seen countless perspectives about this situation. And one thing we talk about here all the time, nuance. They can all be true at the same time. So it's so much. One of the things that I've really been thinking about is these are two Black men that have made it into the $100 million club. And no matter how you cut it, you've got to deal with a lot of crap to get there. So, I mean, both of them have dealt with a lot, have done a lot. There's a lot of doors that they've opened for other people, and they have earned a right for us to at least pause for a minute, in my opinion. You know, just like T. Massey said, Cleophas. Well, Cleophas ain't done what these two have done, you know, and so I do think pause. I don't think that the white community should not have an opinion because we know they're going to have it. I just think that they should probably chill out adding their trying to really frame the issue how they want to frame it, because there's so many elements to it. And I love the way Tony touched on it, was that we are not used to seeing a Black woman protected. So no matter how he would have done it, it still would have looked strange because, you know, we see him make jokes. We've seen all kind of things happening going forth. You know, and you asked the question. So like a lot of it I've been seeing this post, women may pray for a man like Will, but no man prays for a wife like Jada. And I'm thinking to myself, that don't got nothing to do with nothing. Like, one, that's Will's wife. He obviously loved that woman. They're not worried about what you feel like because he there. You talk about wanting to ride or die. Will Smith is the ride or die, and he loved that woman, you know, and that's his right. That's their business. But I think for me, this qualification on, so because you don't like the August Alsina situation or, you know, red table talk, you don't like this, that, or the other about her, that means that she's not worthy to be protected. But if your protection and your love of Black women is conditional like that, then you probably should do some self-examination. And what I really want to say is you should probably keep it. You know what I mean? Like if that's what you own, keep it. Keep it, because it's of no value. I said something earlier. I am not gonna say that on this show, but it was to the extent that, like, no, I'm not even gonna get it because it's not. I was on something. So when we look at this situation, it's not did somebody go too far. We know that comedy is edgy, but when you say something, just be prepared to deal with the consequences of it. I mean, that night, that joke didn't sit right with somebody, so somebody did something about it. I was telling a buddy of mine that does comedy, you know, he was going on and on about what jokes he can and can't tell. I said, you can tell all the jokes you want. I know it's a lot of comedians that are part of the special needs community. Arnaz J does one about his little brother. It's hilarious. There's a guy out there, he lost a lot of weight here in recent years, but his son is autistic. He makes some hilarious jokes. I enjoy good special needs autism jokes, but if you got up on stage and was like, yeah, look at LJ with your autistic self licking on windows, this, that, and other, I'm gonna try to knock your head off your shoulders. And that's just all it is to it. But you can make other jokes, but when you call his name, me and you got a problem. And it might not be too far for anybody else, but it's too far for me. And if you bad enough to say it, just deal with the consequences. Just like I'm gonna deal with the consequences. I got bail money set aside for that reason, because like Tony Watts, I am with the violence. Listen, I don't own guns. I don't box. I don't do none of that because I'm with it. But I do believe that, you know. So I think, and then another point. Here's another thing I was thinking about. Shame on us. That's too strong. That's too strong. Let me pull it back. Not shame on us. But the Oscars. Oh, this is our chance. The Oscars have historically and continuously shown that they don't care nothing about us. They have been tremendously bad actors. Will Smith was the 5th Black person in the history of the Academy to get an Oscar for Best Leading Actor. The Harvey Weinstein Company has racked up 81 Oscars. You know, so like this idea, oh my God, Oscars, please accept us. Man, forget y'all. Y'all have shown us to this point, you don't care nothing about nothing Black. You don't care nothing about what matters to us. And so I'm not for pandering to them because what they about, you know, I'm not for it. because they already show us they don't like us. They don't care about us. So, but let's do some real text. Anybody got some other thoughts on that one?
So I do want to respond to that, because that's a slippery slope. And I really want to make sure that, because, I'm far from a coon, right? But I do want to make sure that we understand that acceptance into spaces on merit is important, and not for Jay-Z, not for the Will Smiths and the Chris Rocks of the world, but for the associate producer, for the gaffer, for the stage manager, these people who unless it's a Marvel movie, you'll never read their names because it's so far at the end of the credits, right? And being able to put the Oscars or the Academy Award on their professional resume opens doors. So I agree with you that as a collective, what we should be doing, instead of pandering to these spaces that don't want us, is to create our own thing. But there's a power struggle that's in play that's bigger than just consumer dollars. It's access, and let's be honest, we can't get on the same page long enough to really support something that is uniquely ours, because we start getting into the minutia of this, that, and the third. Like you said, I think you said it best, and I agree. And let me say this, Tony Watts, I agree with you, bro. I would be such a hypocrite if somebody says something about Saya Stewart Massey, I'm telling you, it would require hell and at least 30% of the demons down there to stop me from responding. So it's not the response I have an issue with. It's the lack of awareness. That's all it is. And it's the fact that she wasn't in physical danger. And I know that distinction doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but how you react does. It's one thing to throw logic out the window because there's a clear and present danger, but we're talking about feelings here. And you got to think about the big picture. So when we start talking about not pandering, we have to remember that everyone that worked on King Richard followed Will into that room. Everyone who was hired by Will Packard followed Will Packard into that room. Everybody. I mean, he made the whole production crew, including the caterers. So all of these people are now being given a chance. And what we know, as much as we don't like it, and as much as we hate it, we know that we're not a monolith, but we know that we're treated in a monolithic way. It only takes one of us to ruin it for everyone else. I mean, even in your corporate job, I'll be very honest. There are certain people that I'm not going to recommend because I don't believe you know how to act. And this sounds horrible coming out of my mouth, even as I'm saying it. I just don't want to ruin the opportunity for someone who's worked hard for it and understands that you have to carry yourself a certain way, not just for yourself, but you have to be a torchbearer. You have to light the path for those who can. And our ancestors understood this. They understood that I'm taking this so that my grandson won't have to. If I can get him into the manager's office, I know I'm not going to get promoted to foreman, but if I can get my grandson in, maybe he can get promoted to shop manager, or whatever. And that's the thought process that I feel we sometimes forget. We look at these people as individuals, but they're not. Will Smith is a brand. Chris Rock is a brand. And a lot of people eat off that brand. And so while you're out here doing your thing in front of the cameras, how is your brand affected and all the people who are employed by it? So I feel like we have to start looking at the bigger picture. Again, it's not what he did. I would be a hypocrite if I said I believe that what he did was wrong. I believe that his timing was horrible. I believe that his awareness was horrible. I believe that he put a lot of people in harm's way, because now people like the guy that you mentioned earlier talking about he could have killed him. A lady on Fox News said, and I quote, "This is the Oscars. This isn't the hood. This isn't a bar. This is the conversations that are now being facilitated by this event." And what these conversations do on a micro level is they start closing doors. I don't care what that woman thinks, but I do care that she's in a position of power, and that thought process could limit someone's opportunity. That's the part that I have. I don't care about your opinion, but I care if your opinion has the power to slow someone's progress because someone fed into a stereotype that you believe. And we've been fighting against, we've had a show about this stereotype. Just being black and a man is enough to incite fear. And so when you hear the whole I feared for my life thing, now they have footage of what happens when you go too far with black people. They slap each other. You know, it's I don't know. I'll land there.
You got a valid point. I don't disagree with that at all. We know we're in that situation. It's just the nerve of them, all of the shenanigans that have happened with white actors, and they swept all of that under the rug, you know.
And that's my point. They don't live under that microscope. And it's not fair that we do. And I don't believe that we as a collective should surrender our autonomy or identity to that microscope. But to pretend like the microscope doesn't exist and that the higher you go up, you may not be. Will Smith is not going to be affected by this. I'm willing to bet my paycheck Will Smith will be at the Oscars next year, even if they take this one from him as a punitive measure. If he gets put in another movie, this might even up his brand. But will there be another Will Packard? That's the part that I'm worried about. Go ahead, Tony White.
Yeah, so when you said Fox News, my brain kind of fuzzied out a little bit.
Your speaker's on, Tone.
I'm sorry. So when you said Fox News, my brain went fuzzy. The same people who said the people who did the insurrection was out camping. So I can't really rock with what they got to say, because they have this one-sided opinion. But I rock with you with what you're saying, that when we're in these spaces, we need to show up a certain way, right? But we have been showing up, so we've been told from the smallest age we have to be 2 times better than them. We have to do this better than them. We have to show up so much better than them. I'm tired. I'm tired. And what Will did again was wrong, but necessary. And if they want to take it and label it what they want to close for us, why they didn't close the door when Justin Timberlake, that wasn't a outfit malfunction. Justin Timberlake opened that thing, and he got no repercussions. When the guy groped what's her name, Halle Berry, and kissed up all and everything, no one canceled him either. He almost came. He came close to getting an Oscar for his acting. So what we need to do is start holding them accountable for the things that they do. We need to make a lot more noise, the same way they make noises, going, whoa, whoa, whoa! You don't do that to this woman. You don't act that way. We got to hold these people responsible the same way they hold us responsible, because we keep saying a place at the table. LeBron James is a billionaire. Kanye West is a billionaire. Jay-Z is a billionaire. Oprah's a billionaire. Tyler Perry's a billionaire. If you just looked at the independent wealth of these stars, right? And if they just got together and said, okay, we're going to have our own Oscars. We changed the narrative. We got to stop going to them for for what we. I know it's a difficult conversation, but we've got to stop thinking they're the only inroad. We make fashion. We make things pop. We do that. And if we stop we are the 9th richest country in the world economically. In the world. If we take our dollars and put them where they need to be, all of this nonsense will stop. One thing to do, like, and I wrote it today on my on my Instagram, is that the elders of his community pulled Will aside and let him know he was wrong. I really appreciate that. And that's what we need to start doing. And that's a conversation we need to start having, because we're overshadowing everything with the slap, right? It's like he got away with something. No, he did not get away with it. The people he respects and love disciplined him. I'm going to use that word. They disciplined him. Where you are, what you did was wrong, Will. That's how and that's what needs to happen. The older generation needs to step up and let the younger generation know. No, we don't do that here. Now that I understand, but no, not here, not now. We'll handle it a different way. So I just have a personal problem when, you know, we trying to get in these spaces that they don't want us in the first place. They don't want us there in the first place. So I'll end there.
So just to be clear, I give no credence to Fox News at all. I think it's a garbage network. I think that it's propaganda, it's racist, it's all of that. But I've gotten into vehicles with coworkers and bosses, and they turn their car on, and that's what's playing. So I agree with you, Tony. You're absolutely right, brother. We don't need to give an ear to things that are we know is ridiculous, but they are. And so if my boss is sitting there listening to Fox News, then he's formulating opinions provided by Fox News. And those opinions are going to have an impact on people like me who don't even like Fox News, but they're talking.
That means we need you to write some more books and get out there and speak. That's
you know what? And you're right, because here's the thing that Tony and Gunsman, I know you want to jump in there, brother. Here's the thing that, you know, you're right, Tony. These guys that are in these positions of power, they should be building their own. But there was a video with Dame Dash talking about buying an NFL team. The problem isn't that these people in power positions aren't creating their own. We aren't supporting them because we still see value in mainstream. Killer Mike opened Greenwood Bank, I think 2 years ago? We have opportunities out there. We have resources out there. But as a collective, we have to use them. We have to support them. I mean, the fact that there was even a hashtag saying Oscar so white while we have the BET Awards and the Source Awards and all these other shows. I mean, Quavo said that he was going to skip the Grammys because we need something that's our own. I can just imagine the Source Awards somewhere going, bruh, what are you talking about? But if we don't show up for each other, then all it is us complaining about what, you know, but it goes back to the debate between Martin and Malcolm. And I want to believe, because at some point he did kind of hint on this. I really believe on some level that integration was probably, or our insistence on it was probably a huge mistake, especially since we could have pulled all of our resources into spaces that did, and we did that. The Green Book, you know, things like that was innovative to create a map that showed here are the places your space. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Manhattan Beach. I just learned this just the other day. Manhattan Beach here in California used to be a thriving Black community until it was thriving, and the people around the community got pissed off because we were thriving. And this is how we suppose. I agree. We not only do we need to create our own, but we need to support our own. And we have to stop nickel and diming ourselves when it comes to concepts that should be universally accepted. Protect Black women, not just the ones you like, not just the ones you know, not just the ones in your family, all of them. If your baby mama is getting attacked, I don't care how much you hate her, help her. If it doesn't make sense. And this idea that we want unconditional femininity and unconditional, agreeability and all this other crap. But when it comes to protection, I have to know you and like you and be cool with you. And you have to have never hurt me before and all this other stuff. It's ridiculous. But this is where we end up. This is the byproduct. And that's the conversation that I love that we're having. This isn't just about Will Smith and Chris Rock. This is about a huge issue within our social framework and the conversations that are happening on Twitter and all these other places. And the way you're right. It's a Rorschach check. It's a social experiment. And we're seeing how people frame the words protection and defend and appropriate and inappropriate. You know what I mean? It's very interesting. So go ahead, Gunner Man. Get in there, baby.
This is actually trending topics, to be honest.
You know, it's hard. It's hard to operate and not see yourself as an individual. So often when we talk about this Black experience, we always look at ourselves as a collective. But when situations happen with the other races, and it's not just simply white people, it's other races, they take it as an individual. You're taking them as an individual. You're not clumping everyone together as a whole. So the actions of that one doesn't stain the rest. But with us, we have the mindset, and because of racism, one opens the door for all. One closes the door for all. And yes, there are millionaires, people out there that have billionaires that have money. But we will still rather rock Chanel, Gucci, Louis, Versace over a brother who's coming out with some new high-end, cool-looking stuff. But then how do we even get to know his cool stuff? Because, see, the difference between us is this, that in order for one of us to get rich, most likely we have to go through white society to get rich. White society don't have to go through us to get rich. That's the difference. That is the biggest difference. So when you talk about, like, how do you not pandering, like, but you want to get paid. If you want to get paid, you got to go through them somewhere along the line. If you're going to get that type of money in America, you got to go through them, but they don't have to go through you. And they don't have to go through you. And guess what? They have the power to take what you show them and make it their own.
Ooh. That's what I was going to say.
They could take what you show them and make it their own, as if they came up with the concept. Now, this is the crazy part. You're watching all the things that are popping and trending now, and they all have a Black element to it. So they like what you create, but they don't like the race. How does that work? How does that work?
I mean, it's a great marketing campaign. That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's a great marketing campaign.
And it's a throwback to slavery. We create culture, but we don't own it. You know, we till the soil, we plant the seed, we harvest the crop, but none of it belongs to us.
None of it.
And it isn't until someone comes on and says, "This is ridiculous. Let's run away." But not everybody's gonna go, because so many of us are satisfied with the comfort that's provided. We don't want to be uncomfortable. And one thing I can't say about Will Smith, his actions last night, it made us all very uncomfortable. Whether you rock it or not, it did. It started a national conversation.
Yep.
So
I got some, I kind of want to keep this flowing, so we're going to check out a video real quick. Derek wouldn't normally go this direction, but I'm a troublemaker. So let's check this video out.
I'm not letting anybody in the Senate steal my joy. I told you this at the beginning. I'm embarrassed. It happened earlier today. I just look at you and I start getting full of emotion. I'm jogging this morning and I'm at the end of the block I live on. And I get terrified because I put my music on loud when I'm jogging, trying to block out the noise of the heart attack I'm having. And this woman comes up on me, practically tackles me, an African-American woman. And the look on her eyes, she just wanted to touch me because I'm sitting so close to you and tell me what it meant to her to watch you sitting where you're sitting. And you did not get there because of some left-wing agenda. You didn't get here because of some dark money groups. You got here how every black woman in America who's gotten anywhere has done, by being like Ginger Rogers said, I did everything Fred Astaire did, but backwards in heels. And so I'm just sitting here saying, nobody's stealing my joy. Nobody's going to make me angry, especially not people that are called in a conservative magazine demagogic for what they're bringing up that just doesn't hold water. I'm not going to let my joy be stolen because I know you and we appreciate something that we get that a lot of my colleagues don't. I know Tim Scott does. When I first came to this place, I was the 4th black person ever popularly elected to the United States Senate. And I still remember a lot of mixed people, white folks, black folks work here, but at night when people are in line to come in to clean this place, the percentage of minorities shift a lot. And so I'm walking here, first week I'm here, and somebody who's been here for decades doing the urgent work of the Senate, but it's the unglamorous work that goes on no matter who's in offices. The guy comes up to me, all he wants to say, I can tell, is, I'm so happy you're here. But he comes up and he can't get the words out. And this man, my elder, starts crying. And I just hugged him. And he just kept telling me, it is so good to see you here. It's so good to see you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love my brother, Tim Scott. We could write a dissertation on our disagreements. He gave the best speech on race. I wish I could have given good of a speech. But talking to the challenges and indignities that are still faced. And you're here. I was in the White House with my Democratic colleagues, and I'm in my joy. I can't help it. and the president's asking our advice, who should we nominate and whatever. And I look at Kamala and we have a knowing glance, which we've had for years when she and I used to sit on this end of this committee at times. And then I try to get out to the president what it means. What it means. And I want to tell you, when I look at you, this is why I get emotional. I'm sorry, you're a person that is so much more than your race and gender. You're a Christian, you're a mom, you're an intellect, you love books. But for me, I'm sorry, it's hard for me not to look at you and not see my mom, not to see my cousins, one of them who had to come here and sit behind you. She had to have your back. I see my ancestors and yours.
Powerful. Powerful. I mean, that collective joy is what we all should be striving to experience. She's about to do something that has never been done not because there was no one qualified to do it, but because of racism. That's it.
Because she's more than qualified.
She's overqualified. She's more qualified than all the other people who have done it. But yet her qualifications come into play. Since they can't attack her record, they try to attack her character. And shame on anyone who looks like her for adding to that noise. Shame on you. Even if you don't like her politics, even if you don't like her, her record on whatever, shame on you for not having a collective mind. I had lunch with Adisa, a really cool cat, and he gave me a perspective that I never considered. We were talking about the Black collective, and what he said was the first thing we need to do when faced with a problem is address our assumptions. What is it that we're walking into the room thinking we already know, right? And one thing he pointed out was when we discussed the Black collective, have we truly assessed if everybody Black wants to be in the collective? Or are we assigning you membership based on race? And it made me think about the whole everyone that's kinfolk ain't kinfolk concept, because some people don't want to be a part of it, not because, or they want to be a part of it when it's convenient for them. Everyone is seeking this idea of individuality when what we need is that village that Tony Watts is always talking about. That singular mindset that allows us to defeat racism, sexism, misogyny, oppression. But when one of us or two of us or three of us decide that I'm gonna go against the grain, then that becomes an issue for me. Now, I do believe that everyone is entitled to their opinions and their thoughts, but when there's a bigger picture, especially when the person is qualified, they're not trying to put a woman up there who, hasn't done anything. This woman has gone to Harvard, Yale, and then you got people out here talking about what's your your LSAT scores? Obviously good enough to get into Harvard. But when I see Black men especially have a negative opinion about this woman, Cory Booker just showed us that's how you protect Black women. By standing up, by using your bully pulpit to just praise them in public. And you know what? Nobody can do anything about it, because I got 5 minutes and I can use them however I want. If Ted Cruz can ask you if babies are racist or whatever the hell he was talking about, then you know what? For the next 5 minutes, sister, you're going to sit here and you're going to get all this love. Every single ounce of it.
Yeah, when Ted Cruz was up there, I kind of wish that Will Smith would have been there so he could have came up and gave him a skibbity pap.
Yeah, so great point, Tony. And you're so on point. And this is something that we have to really digest as a community. I don't have to like you to come to the party. I don't have to like you. I just got to hear the music and dance. That's all. That's why I'm at the party, because I want to dance and have fun. That's it. Because when I see Black people going, oh, she's awful, she's terrible, she can't even describe what a woman is. They ask that question to cause a problem, and she's smart enough to know. Why are you asking a woman what a woman is? Did you think about that before you try to tear her down? She knows what she is. She understands thoroughly. But you don't understand politics, so therefore you wanted her to give some sloppy answer about what a woman is. It's so much bigger than that. So much bigger than that. And what we have to do is we have to begin to educate ourselves collectively on what the nuances are in government, in banking, in money, so we can collectively use our power to do what we need to do. Listen, Puffy, Rick will tell you, we know he come from his idea of creating a voting block and saying, here's what we have on the table. Who's going to come get it? Who's coming to get it? If you don't know what you need to do in these 2 to 4 years, you don't get the votes no more. Until we get that mindset in politics, we're going to continue to go around in circles, because I'm going to tell you what they want from us and why the civil rights movement for me was a problem. They want our money. That's it. And we give it to them freely. So they can go out and shoot people in the street. I got your money. So what are you gonna do? When's the last time you heard a Jewish boy get shot in the street? And not have the whole entire Jewish community standing in front of the police station asking for accountability. And what happened? Italians, Indians, everybody moves in a collective. I'm going to tell a quick story so I can land my plane. There's a rabbi on 86th Street when I worked at I used to see all the time, and we became very, very cool. We used to have great conversations. And he said to me, he said, Tony, you guys are amazing. You have great ideas, but you're too busy. Everybody's trying to be the leader. So you spend all your time doing this instead of having a collective vision of where you're going. He said, here's what I want you to do. When you get with a group of guys or females or a community and you want to go somewhere, and somebody else that has more voice than you at the time has an idea that you know is not going to work because you've tried the idea. Don't argue with them. Walk with them the way they want to go and explain to them what you did and why it went the wrong way. And they will navigate to where you need to go. We spend too much time arguing why Will Smith is this and this nominee is that. What are we arguing for? We all want the same thing. And another thing that the Jewish community does, that's mind-boggling. I'm going to use that word. It's mind-boggling. I could hate Tony Massey and he lives in my community, but I will go buy from him before I go buy from Rick. Rick can have the better product. But I'm going to buy from him first because he's a part of my community. When we get that right, we will be on top where we belong. I land.
That's so good, man. Like,
Yeah.
if we can get to a point where our feelings don't mess up our finances, there's nowhere we can't go. But we are so feeling driven. But yet we can profess our hate for the other side and then go spend our money there. Like, to me, when we were in Atlanta, once Lenox Mall put up the metal detectors, that would have been the time where I would have collectively said, we shouldn't be in there. Because there's no metal detectors at any other mall in Atlanta. We went to several of them. No metal detectors. They're not protecting people. They're protecting products. They're protecting shopper experience. They're protecting money. I mean, the history of our history is, once they realized that there was enough of us to change the political landscape, they then counted us as 1/3 of a person so that our vote could be utilized for the people who owned us. Like, we are a commodity. We are a thing. We are something to be traded. And until we stop the commodification of one another, I want to go here real quick. It bothers me that women like Kamala Harris, Judge is it Brown or Johnson? I can't remember which is her last name.
Jackson.
Yeah, it bothers me when I see conversations about these women being married to white men. And here's why. It bothers me because we've discussed on this show how some Black men vilify Black women who choose careers and education over wanting to be, a submissive wife and all this other stuff. So if you're focused it takes education and focus on your career to get to the point where you're the vice president of the United States or you're the, a Supreme Court judge. So once you get there, and Black men have made it clear, I don't care about your education, I don't care about your money, none of that means anything to me. So who are they supposed to marry? Who are they supposed to be with? And this is the part that I'm talking about, where we can't get on the same page. And Tony Watts, you're absolutely right. Everyone wants their name on the marquee. Everyone wants to be featured. Everyone wants to be in a leadership position. In my neighborhood, there's a street called Reed Road. It's probably about 6 miles long. I counted them. There are 52 churches on that road. 52 churches on a 6-mile road in the hood. All begging for the same damn dollar.
Fam, you are talking up my alley.
Everybody got to be the pastor. Nobody wants.
Right.
Nobody wants to be the associate pastor.
And I've talked to my godfather because he's the bishop, and I said to him, I was like, listen, we go to these churches for their anniversaries. We go to these churches for different events. They praise the same way we do. They talk to the same God we talk to. Do you understand the type of property we can have if we just come together? What are we doing? Do you understand this one little thing might keep us out of heaven? I'm going to land there.
Imagine how much money we could generate if we took 5 of those churches, built a mega church, had these pastors on a preaching rotation, and then all that property, turn it into affordable housing, turn it into grocery stores, turn it into something that can actually benefit the community and not just one man's ego. You know what I'm saying? Like it bewilders me because you're right. You see it in other communities. You go to the Asian communities. I mean, they do it better than anybody. They won't go nowhere else. Their money stays home. And it's been proven that the black dollar spends the shortest amount of time in its own community than any other dollar.
6 hours.
That's
6 hours.
insane.
The Jewish and Asian community, their dollar stays with them for 12 to 14 days. Us, 6 hours.
You got a man? You got anything, bro?
You know, there's a lot of things that were done right in America. And when I say done right, meaning that how they trapped us, how they enslaved Africans, how they got us to not see ourselves as an individual, but a community, how they got us not to believe that we can lean on each other, how they got us to treat each other with the same grotesque that they treat us. They've done that right. So right that which we speak about, no time soon will that ever come together. You know, when I share the story about racism and I talk about the things that I've done and been through and had to deal with, people see it as a far off thing. They see it as like something like I didn't do that to you. My ancestors did that to you. And I'm like, Jim Crow laws didn't end until 1954. There were still racist laws still in effect in 1973. Still, they were still in the books. So 1973 to now. 1973 to now. You expect from enslaving Africans to segregation, Jim Crow laws, from after slavery was mass incarceration back then, and then going up to the 80s, the drugs going in, and then once again, mass incarceration again, all for the mighty dollar. And here we are, just only a few years from it, a lifetime or two, just 2 lifetimes. A lifetime is 25 years. So 2 lifetimes, less than 2 lifetimes, you expect all that hatred, all that training, all that teaching, all that negative to change? No, it's not going to change anytime soon. But if we could start taking the little steps, how do we take the little steps? What do we need to take the little steps? Don't know. That's the part that's all of us are saying we just don't know. We could talk about things, but the truth is like, we don't know. How do you change 400 years of this training. Because there were black people here before slavery. They just decided it was just easier just to say the black people are the slaves. But back then it was anyone that wasn't a Christian was a slave. And then they came up with the Virginia Code. You wouldn't go to jail for killing a black person. You know, right? The Virginia Code. Yeah, say it again.
The Black Codes.
Okay, yes. So here they have the freedom, and they still to this day have the freedom to kill us, take what they want from us. And we have no power. We are the soft targets when policemen talk about. Go after the soft targets, which is Latina and black. That's the soft targets. If you were to arrest a white person, if you were to go after an Asian person, you get questioned as a cop. You will get questioned. Why did you bring them in? Why did you do X, Y, Z? Why? Go after the soft targets. You put us in a community where we're bound to fail, and then you punish us for failing when we do. Where's the justice in any of that? You give us less than everything for all these years. And you know you do, and you don't even care because there's nothing we could do about it. So we could continue to give you less than. And you could do nothing about it as a collective. What? Oh, you're going to march? Oh, yeah, you're going to march. Go ahead and march. But that does not reduce the amount of money that's going into my pocket. The difference between being biased and racist is the fact that a racist has the ability to stop you from earning. So you could be biased, but you can, as a black person, you can't be racist. You do not have the ability to stop another group of people from achieving something. You don't have that power. You know what power we do have? Anger. If there's any tool that a black person has, is anger. So look at society. Anything they could utilize that anger, we put you in that position. Think about across from courthouses to anything that could channel that anger, could channel that mandatory that manpower work. That's where we could put them. You could put us there, put us there. But how do we get together as a collective? How do we rise above all this? How do we no longer need the Oscars or need to go through the Oscars? How? Because I think all those stations are owned by people that are not us. So once again, in order for us to gain, we have to go through them. In order for them to gain, they don't have to go through us at all. And then they have the power to take what is ours. They have the power to take what is ours. Anything you could create. Think about it. Anything. And that's all the majority races from China to white America. And all these other countries adapted the same thing. You know, because I have a whole thing because traveling in my brown and black skin, where you think that you're going to have the same experience as your white friends when you travel the globe. You actually think that you're going to have those smiling faces that they experience, and they're living there, and they're telling you to come and check us out because you're going to have this amazing experience. And you get there, and they can't see past your dark skin. And how many different places around the world they talk about lightening their skin. So how do you do it? How do you get the hatred that was started here and then spread throughout the world globally? How do you put a halt to that level of hate? Because they all adapted it. All adapted the same thing. Because you can look at race and the top of race on top of race on top of race. And no matter if I go to Latino country, if I go to Indian country, if I go to Europe, Middle East, they can have skin darker than us and still hate us because we're black. How does that work? That's some real power. When you could say you have to say you are darker than me and you don't like me because I'm of African descent. That's power. That's power. So how do you operate? How do you ever start to win? You got to find the little steps. Where are the little steps? What are the little steps? I don't know.
You ready? You ready?
What are the little steps?
You ready? Get your pen out. I'll tell you. First, you gotta sing some Queen Latifah. UNITY, UNITY. First step. When, you've heard me talk about this before, Rick. When the Black Panther came out, it made $1 billion+. So everybody went to the movies to support this movie, right? $1 billion+. We showed up in our dashikis. We showed up in our African garb. We showed up and showed out for this movie. Now imagine $1 billion+, right? Imagine if we had a day. Wednesday, April 14th, we go and put into the Greenwood Bank $25 a piece. And we say, we're going to use that money for DC to build a new school, to put XYZ in that school. Next month, we're going to do it again. Now those funds go to here. It's a simple process. The only reason things can get no, Rick, trust me, it looks complicated, but it's
no, it doesn't. That it looks complicated. Who owns the property, bro?
But Rick, you think we don't own property? You know how much property Black people own in the South? That they don't know how to really maneuver through. You know how much property we own? These young cats out here right now that's doing all this real estate, they're buying blocks.
Right, but then I thought you said DC.
Blocks.
I thought you said DC. That's where I
was.
No,
I just used DC as an example.
Oh, okay. That was I was triggering. Like
DC's owned by like, because you can't go into DC and just start buying stuff up because that's the government. But I'm just using DC as a city. Like if you go to like you came to Mount Vernon and we said we're going to buy a few blocks, it can be done. But we're too busy trying to fight trying to fight to be the best, to be the boss, and not come together and use our funds. We would be the 9th richest country in the world if we kept our money in our community. You know how much money that is? We would be an entire nation. So it's not complicated. We just don't know how to unify because we're too busy looking at other things going, oh, that's quality. I'd rather shop here. Like you said, Black designers, millions. Quality. Look at Groovy Lou and them. Look at Groovy Lou and them. The clothing line they just came out with. We should be like I said this before. One of the things that we should do as a Real Shop Talk is talk to people that we know, and people in comments, please send it to us. Anybody that has a Black business, and we'll start reposting that this is a Black business. You saw me do it the other day. I have a little sister who has her own company. I have a nephew who has his own company. I did Black Men Journals. I reposted, these are Black businesses support. Imagine we all collectively did that. We can almost reinvent the Green Book. So people can then go back and see, because when you ask, how do I find a Black business? We don't know. Like we don't know. Like one thing I like about Love Tucker, she will hear Black business and she don't care. She'll just go buy from them. Hey, I got this new shirt. I got this new catalog. I got these blinds, because she just wants to support Black businesses. Imagine we just had all that. We all had that little mindset. It's not as complicated as we think it is, because we've been in this fog for so long, and all of the stuff has happened for so long. We don't think we could do it. We can just start small. When I put up the 5 earlier, Tony, when you said that's the 5, that's us. That's the collective. We've built a little village by having this thing. We got, the Erica. We got this little village that's, snowballing with us. So we just tell them, hey, what are you doing? When they are also posted. I posted Erica with their brand, the Black Podcast. Hey guys, go pick this up. We got to do things like that to support each other. We have to do things like that to support each other. And once we get that kind of mentality going, the snowball will start to run. We're having these conversations. Rick, you're having conversations with college students and younger students. And I know you're giving them facts. And that's what we have to do. That's the important part. We already seen the history. We amass the wealth, somebody comes to take it. They can't come take it now. They can't just come, they can't come with the firebombs and just take it over that way now. They can't say, Tony whistled at some white lady, so now we're gonna burn all of Mount Vernon down. They can't do that now. So we just take our time, start buying things out, and just unify. It's man, listen, it's not really that complicated, but we make it complicated. I'm gonna land my plane.
I had a couple of more videos that I was gonna show, but we done got out there, man. So let's end it on a high note. Y'all forgive me for
Before you do that, I just wanted March 16th, 1995. That's when Mississippi officially ratified slavery. So
Yeah.
All right, check this out, y'all. We're gonna end on a high note. Celebrate National Cleaning Week.
Okay, now first thing first, you need to find you some music. Okay, because your house gonna still be dirty if you ain't cleaning up with music. Now let's go. Okay, now what you want to do, you want to start seasoning the whole house. I'm talking about season the carpet, season the whole countertop and all that. And let it sit, let it marinate. Now you want to come in and dance, and you know what I'm saying? Maybe hit a little 1-2 so you can feel it in your spirit. See, what you don't do, you don't sit down while you clean it up, because you ain't never finna get back up. You finna just be like this all day. I get that later. So now you saw me in the bathroom and you saw me in the room to clean up. Now I'm in the kitchen. This is not what you want to do. You want to stay focused on one room. Okay?
yo, why did we put comment in the tub and walk away like it was going to
The seasoning, baby, the seasoning.
my wife and I talk about this stuff all the time, how we have these rituals that we do and we have no idea why we do them, but they are essential. Like there's no good reason for this at all, but this is the way my mama did it. This is the way her mama did it. I don't want to try anything different because it just won't work. Like I remember my grandmother washing dishes in scalding hot bleach water. And I can only imagine the damage she did to her hands, but for her, they weren't clean. And to this day, I will just a little cap. and here's the part that's crazy. We're the only ones that eat off our dishes. So whatever I'm killing, we got it anyway. I love that video.
No, man, listen. When you wake up and you hear some Gap Band or some Atlantic Star.
You ain't going outside
today. Yeah, no. Herbie Hancock, Michael Jackson. Oh, it's out.
For us, it was Anita Baker, Shirley, what's her name? I can't think of her name now. Patti LaBelle. Yeah, you hear that? It's whatever you thought you were doing today, you clean it.
Mine was
gotta stick to the dirt.
You gotta stick to it first. That's the only way to get it out.
For myself, when I'm cleaning, I remember back in the days, I used to love Spanish music. So anything like by Mark Anthony, I would just put in his CD. But nowadays, it's nothing but Caribbean soca music. That's all I listen to. Clean the house, pop that on, and I'm focused. Focused.
Shirley Murdoch. Yeah, that's right. Shirley Murdoch. That As We Lay, it's a wrap.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That As We Lay coming in, you're going to be scrubbing the floor with a toothbrush.
And that's the thing. It was never clean. So what I learned is my room could not be clean until she was done cleaning. That's the key. It doesn't matter how clean the room actually is. You wait until she's done and she comes in and does her check. Because if you finish before her, it's either not clean or you're going to get assigned another room, one of the two. So you just You just drag it on out. That's too funny.
This is
I guess
good.
Tony Watson them didn't clean it. He got real silent on us.
No, not at all. I was waiting for you guys to finish. I was in a barbershop Saturday, and he was playing all the oldies. He's like, "Yo, I can't be still." I said, "Because I feel like I need to go clean something." I feel like I need to go clean something. Oh my gosh!
I feel like in New York,
video, bro. That's a great video.
Did y'all clean to like DMX in New York? I feel like y'all don't do anything soft and easy.
That's just so disrespectful.
I'm just saying. I just feel. I just imagine like
But that's what my kids cleaned up to.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yo, get under the bed, son. Under the bed. It's not clean, bro.
Get the broom, kid. Get the broom, kid.
What are you doing, B?
like how you have your opinions about us, we have our opinions of you.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's just different. It's just different.
See, but we be accurate. Y'all be off.
Because I tell you, when I went down south for the first time to spend quality time, I was like, oh, okay. Black people here are different. Growing up in New York, we like, there's only simply, it seems like it's only one type of black person down here. So you develop these
up north, y'all don't speak. All of that, man. Like where I come from, I don't care if I don't know you. If you black, we speak it. Like
everybody in the, like I remember my friends coming over and they only spoke to my mother, and they would you speak to you go around the room, shake hands, kiss on the cheek, whatever the case may be. You got to speak to everybody. In New York, this is a city with millions of people, and nobody is talking to each other.
well, here's what I'm not gonna let you do. I'm not let you continue to step on my city like that. We talk. That's a whole.
Y'all yell at each other. Y'all yell at each other.
Wait, time out. I'm gonna do it again because you can catch it.
Oh,
that's the whole conversation.
That's speaking. The words of speaking is in the word. You have to verbalize a word. But then when you hear people from New York speak, you're like, oh my goodness, why are you yelling? It's 8 a.m.
See, when
why are you so angry? What happened?
When you ride the train and you try to talk to somebody on the train, or you walking underneath the train station in the Bronx, I can't whisper. I can't talk in a normal tone for Rick to hear me. I got to raise my voice a little bit. So therefore, the noise makes us raise our voice a little bit. Okay. Rick, that sound right, Rick? That
sounds good.
We'll accept that. We'll accept that. Yeah, hey, fellas, man,
says our areas are heavily populated.
Heavily populated, man. You got to be aggressive to get through all.
You don't even make eye contact on the train.
Nah, they ain't got time for that. They ain't got time for eye contact, friendliness. They ain't got time for that.
You might get 5 fingers. You make eye contact the wrong way.
Hey, but man, we at 9:30, man. This is a good ending point. Let's go around, man. Y'all got anything before we close out?
Yeah, I actually have a in-person event coming up on April 24th. April 24th, you can register. It's called From Self-Love to Self-Care. You can meet me and 2 other people, Rose Emily, as well as Lisa. Lisa owns Spa on the Go, and Rose Emily is a reset transformation health coach. So she's actually teaching everyone how to go from me working on the inside of you, which is the self-love, to you actually working on the outside of you. That and teaching you how to eat and how to exercise. But that's going live in person on April 24th, starting 11 a.m. It's at the Exchange in New Jersey. On once again April 24th. So yeah, please show up. You can register right now, and be a part of it. So, seats are limited. All right. So thank you.
And if you want to see how powerful Rose Emily is, come check me out 8 o'clock because I will be doing a full conversation with her and her powers. Like I told Rick, is probably the only other person who equals him in energy and love. So we're gonna have a real good conversation talking about what she does and why she does it. So check us out, 8:00 Triumphant TV. I will be having it. She'll be part of my conversation series.
And I will be on the Marriage is Real podcast tomorrow night. I'm gonna try to get out of work early so I can do it 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So what's that, 9:30 out in Eastern Time? Really excited about this. These two, Damien and his wife, they have an amazing podcast, man. It's so entertaining and so down to earth and very transparent. And I just remember watching the show one night, and then I was just so impressed with the presentation. I wrote in, just told him how much I loved it, and he was like, "Oh, we love the Real Shop Talk. Let's collaborate." And I was like, "Absolutely, let's do it." So we had to reschedule because of my move. So it's going to be tomorrow night, and I'll post it on my page so you'll know exactly where to find it.
Because I'm tuning into that. Check that out.
It's going to be good.
All right. Well, man, I see the folks fading out, but hey, thank you for rocking with us, man. We had a good time. Trending topics. We started out with the slap heard around the world and ended up with dancing while you put comment and let it season in the tub. So where else can you get quality content like that? But here at the Real Shop Talk. So from all of the illustrious 5 of the Real Shop Talk, have a good night, everybody, and we out.